This lecture, we're going to be looking at music and identity. So I want to bring in now Simon Frith. He is a British sociomusicologist, and he wrote this essay in 1996 called Music and Identity. And he wrote this as a reaction against what he was seeing going on in a lot of musicological studies at the time, which was this push toward cultural essentialism. So what this means in terms of the way that musicologists were using it was they were saying, oh, there's the difference between male composition and female composition. Like there's some kind of fundamental difference there between the way men write music and the way women do, and you can hear that or see that in the music somehow. Or only African Americans can appreciate or play or write African American music, and they're the only ones who can really kind of get it. So he came up with a few different ideas here. So he said that the academic study of music as it had been was very limited because we have these assumptions that sounds represent or reflect a person or community. And he wanted to push back against that in this essay. What he thought was not that music reflects a person or a group of people, but how it produces them. So think about that for a minute. It's not a reflection, it's actually a production. So there's something kind of going back and forth here, this sort of give and take. Now he's coming from two premises here. So the first premise is that identity is mobile. And what he means by that is that identity is a process of becoming, not a state of being. So for example, you and your identity right now might not be the same way that you identified 10 years ago or the same way that you identify 10 years down the road. And that's because a lot of different things can influence you and kind of change the way you think about things. The second idea is that music is best understood as an experience of self in progress. So kind of along with this idea of identity as a process of becoming, music kind of becomes part of that experience of this development or this mobilization. So for Frith, this applies not only to music making, but also to the experience of music listening. So with this comes some additional things that we need to consider. If music is shaped by the people who create it and they have some sort of connection between the music and their identity, once it's released into the world, it has a life of its own. So what he means by that is that it doesn't really matter, in a sense, what the person who made the music wants to communicate with it or what it means to them, because it can have a different experience in the process of becoming for everybody who comes in contact with this music. It can be very subjective in how it informs an individual's identity. And that's because for Frith, music isn't just expressing ideas, it's living them in a sense. Here's a quote from Frith's article. The experience of pop music is an experience of identity. In responding to a song, we are drawn haphazardly into emotional alliances with the performers and the performers' other fans. So if we think back to our music and stereotypes exercise that we did, this is kind of related, right? If you like a certain music, people may tend to make certain stereotypical assumptions about you, but also you saying you like that music as part of your identity also says something about you, right? Maybe it's not the stereotypical things, but it does say something about you as a person. Here's some other quotes for you to think about. So the appeal of music itself, the reason people like it, and what, more importantly, liking it means, is buried under an analysis of sales strategies, demographics, the anthropology of consumption. From the consumer's perspective, it is obvious that people play the music they do because it sounds good, and even if musical tastes are inevitably an effect of social conditioning and commercial manipulation, people still explain them to themselves in terms of something special. So what he's really saying here is that even though we may think that our tastes in music are very sort of individual and unique and special, he's arguing that actually everything that we consume has been filtered through all these different layers, the sales strategies, the demographics, right? So how we get the music, the suggestions that our streaming services may make to us, all of this has gone through filters. So in a way, it's not like we're really sort of free to just choose any music. It's sort of been directed toward us by virtue of being in a particular culture at a particular time. So for Frith, popular music is not popular because it reflects something that or authentically articulates some sort of popular taste or experience, but because it creates our understanding of what popularity is, because it places us in the social world in a particular way. So what he's saying here is that the music that we think is popular, or think of as popular music. And by the way, when Frith is talking about popular music, he doesn't mean just pop music, right? Like Michael Jackson and Madonna. He's talking about any kind of mainstream commercial music. So country, R&B, gospel, anything like that that's been sort of commercially produced. And so what he's saying here is that it's not popular because it reflects the generalized tastes of people so much as that it influences our understanding of what popular is, and it kind of has this effect on our culture. So rather than music just being sort of a mirror of the culture, it actually is engaging in this organic identity making process of an entire group of people or an entire culture. It's pretty interesting stuff to think about. I'd love to hear what you think about Simon Frith's ideas. If you're interested in reading the entire article, I will have it posted in the optional resources section, but please take a moment to add a comment and let me know, or just reply to a classmate's comment. I look forward to hearing what you have to say.